Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the first Pokemon single-use run on the entire channel. And it's going to be Ekans in Pokemon Platinum, because I thought that was a terrible idea, so I'm going to do it. We're going to be using only Ekans, other Pokemon are allowed for HMs, and we're not allowed to use items in battle. We have to beat through the entire game like that. Luckily, on the moveset the side, we aren't too bad off. Ekans has a bunch of good moves, and hopefully it'll be enough to get us through Cynthia's Garchomp, much less the other gyms. I am not looking forward to the Steel Gym, and I'm not looking forward to the Ground Elite Four member, and I'm not looking forward to Cynthia's Garchomp. All of these things are going to be terrible. Anyway, so let's jump right on into it. Held items are fine. Items inside a battle otherwise are no bueno. We're allowed to use items outside of battle, and yeah, let's get started. So, to start things off, we're going to be going with Dawn. We're going to be playing as a female character in this one, and yeah, we're going to give ourselves the good old name that I've used for a lot of female characters I made in the past. So it's going to be Rena. As to why, don't ask, because I do not honestly know. Now, the male character, however, it's going to be my name. Since after all, male character is a bundle of nonsense just like me. As everybody knows, Barry is a pain in the hide. I decided to replace Piplup with Turtwig, with Ekans, so that our rival would have Turtwig. Because of the simple fact that, let's face it, Torterra would be more dangerous of the three of them. That Earthquake is going to suck to face. So yeah, hopefully everything goes fine and we don't end up with too many problems from this idea. Elron, of course, can't keep himself together and immediately challenges me to a battle. So, in we go with our first battle with the Ekans. Doesn't go that bad. Pretty simple, pretty easy and straightforward. Wrapped around the Turtwig for a bit and poison stung it until it fainted. Honestly, it's not going to be that difficult to defeat Elron for a while until after he fully evolves his Turtwig. Once he has Torterra, it's going to be a lot more difficult. So, as you saw in that first battle, we don't have Intimidate. We actually have Shed Skin, which is glorious. It means that I can use Rest and shed off the rest, and not care. And we got Adamant Nature. This is so good. Earthquake and Gunk Shot off Adamant Nature is going to be spectacular. Make life easier. So, the very first thing we do after we get returned from the professor, after we talk to our parents, is come over here and beat the tar out of some Bidoofs. Because there's a lot of them, and they give HP EVs, and boy howdy are we going to need a lot of HP in order to get through that Garchomp. Because we're going to have to tank its Earthquakes in order to even have a chance, because we will not be able to one-shot it with anything, and it can easily one-shot us at ridiculously high levels. Even at level 100 it deals like 80% of our health around. So yeah, we're going to need to farm up a lot of Bidoofs right now. And on our way out of Jubilife City, going towards Orberd to try to battle our first gym, of course Elron demands a battle. He comes running up with his Starly and his Turtwig, but, well, we make short work of everything that he has right now, because of all the levels we gained. Not to mention the fact that Turtwig really doesn't have anything to deal with us. Also, because of all the battles, our friendship is high, so Return deals a ton of damage. Didn't stand even the slightest bit of a chance. What can we say? So we went in and tried to take on the Orberd gym leader now that we've dealt with Barry and got the gym leader back into the gym. And even though we have Bite and a 4th level advantage on his Pokemon, it is not easy. He really is tough. His Pokemon are so physically defensive that it's hard to break through them. So even though I'm trying for a Paraflinch, as you can tell, it's just not happening. I managed to get past his Onix a few times, but as soon as I do, his Cranidos comes out and just finishes the job. So I think we're gonna have to grind a bit more. Luckily, it only takes one level it seems before we're finally able to take it on. We learned Screech at level 17, and with Screech, we can easily make work of Orberd. So, no problem here. Rock Gym is easily steamrolled by Ekans with Screech and Bite. As you can see, even Onix falls in 2 hits. And Granados actually goes down in one hit, although Granados hits really hard anyway. Nonetheless, Rock Gym done, first badge done. On our way to Eternal City for our second badge, we stopped to beat up Team Galactic's Commander Mars. I was worried about Perugly, but it went down easy with no worries thanks to a pair of crits. I doubt Team Galactic will be a problem at all at this rate. It's honestly kind of strange to not have to deal with Perugly in a dangerous fashion. So, let's take Gardenia down. I highly doubt Gardenia will cause us any problems whatsoever. But her reflecting Turtwig makes me a bit nervous. I won't deny. After all, those reflects make them incredibly tanky. But we get through the Turtwig without too much problem. So now we're just left with Cherim and Roserade. But, as expected, the only real problem was the reflect. That Leech Seed is annoying. But as soon as we get rid of the reflect, it's no problem whatsoever. You'd think the grass gym would be super easy, but, well, it's not super easy. All of her Pokemon can heal so much. If it wasn't for Stockpile, we would have had some trouble. Now that we have the second edge, we storm Team Galactic's tower to take down Troubadour with ease. Her Skunk Tank, although normally a problem, is easy to take down with Ekans. These commanders are proven easier than I thought they would be. After taking out Team Galactic, we end up at the third gym. We end up fighting Fantina. I'm not too worried about this gym. After all, we have Bite. We have a 10 level advantage. This Mischievous' Psybeam hurts. But other than that, her whole team drops. It's just a complete sweep. Luckily, Arbok learns Bite super early on. Since we have our third badge, we have to face ourselves yet again. This is no problem, however, since we are so overleveled. Even Groddle, who is starting to show how tanky he will be, doesn't really stand a chance against us. We don't have any poison-type moves to use against him, but he doesn't have any Earthquake to use against us. Problem done, let's move on. And now that we've gotten through all of that, we are here with Maylene, and I do not deny I'm rather nervous about this fight. Because that Lucario is scary. Doesn't matter. So I went right ahead and I went for 3 stockpiles, and then I just went all out offense. Should be good enough, but I've got nothing that's super effective against the Lucario. If it starts getting some Metal Claw boosts like that, it would get really scary. But luckily it didn't get any good boosts, and she didn't heal it, so I took her out without any problem, really. Before we take on the water gym, we have to put ourselves in our place. This was no problem since we learned Gunk Shot. Even Groddle falls easy. Good thing it isn't evolved into Torterra yet, otherwise it might have Earthquake. I thought the water gym would be easy. Turns out I was horribly wrong. Gyarados starts off intimidating us and cutting our attack. We can't use Gunk Shot on Quagsire really because it's ground type, and it has a ground type attack to hit us super effectively. Floatzel has Brine, which doubles power when we're low on HP. Thank God for Stockpile. It's the only reason I got through this battle. So we run off, we gotta do Cynthia's stupid errand. Give her old grandma the stupid oval charm. Just a bit of a detour to get a bunch more of the folklore. Stop Team Galactic from planting another bomb, because that's just what Team Galactic do after all. And then after we stop them from planting the bomb, we go and blow up Team Galactic's boss, Cyrus. He doesn't stand a chance at this point. As you can tell, Sneasel, Golbat, and Murkrow, none of them can stand up to the might of our Arbok. And with Team Galactic put in their place, we end up going after our 6th badge. Unfortunately, we end up in our own way. As you can see, I got rid of Return and replaced it with Dig, because I needed it for this badge. But it came in handy here, because it got rid of Rapidash without a problem. And Heracross, I was not sure if I could KO it with Gunk Shot, but I could, so all is good there. But here's the problem. Torterra. Torterra is still scary. Luckily he didn't go for any ground type move, because I don't think he knows one yet. And we take him up, no problem, with Gunk Shot and Bite. Last up, Floatzel. And Floatzel I'm not worried about at all. He goes down 1 Gunk Shot, rival done, no problem whatsoever. The steel gym was also brutal. We need Magneton to use Metal Sound twice while we set up stockpile. If it attacks us, we lose. After that, we need Steelix to use Sandstorm once instead of 3 Earthquakes, or we lose. Bastiodon is a one-hit, since Sturdy doesn't save it in this generation. Oh my god, I wish I had Earthquake. So while we were off beating up the 6th gym leader, Commander Saturn and his crew blew up a bomb at Lake Valor. So we came back to check out what the hell they even did. They destroyed the bike entirely, left a bunch of poor Magikarp with no home, so we slap him around a bit with our Sneck just to teach him a lesson. Turns out his Bronzor had Levitate, just like I feared. That's why I kept Bite. Even though Bite is not powerful, at least it's better than Return against the Steel types. So, he's no problem, we move on. So next on our stopping Team Galactic plan, we go to Lake Variety. And here we encounter, well, Commander Mars. And Commander Mars is, well, a little bit of a problem. This Bronzor really does hurt if it gets its Iron defenses up and confuses us. The Purugly equally is annoying if we miss our attacks or if we hit ourselves in confusion, but Gunk Shot one-shots it, so it's no problem. Mars is dealt with. But in order to continue chasing Team Galactic, we need to beat Candace, the 7th gym leader, and this gym is not easy. Her Sneasel is no problem. Her Frostlass is no problem unless she gets some really lucky Snow Veil at Brock's. But her... oh man, her Piloswine. That thing hurts if it uses Earthquake. So, I got lucky here and got a Flinch, but I have gotten a couple of runs where it didn't use Earthquake, and it goes just as easily as this. You do have to land Gunk Shot on Abomasnow, but that's no big deal. It's 70% accuracy, and Candace is down? No problem really. So after all the problems that Cyrus's entire Team Galactic has caused, we skulked into his facility and went and beat him up in his own office. Teach him a lesson for going around blowing up all the farms and lakes around the area. Unfortunately, he doesn't stand much of a chance against us, but his Crobat is very tanky, surprisingly. He almost took us out right there. But we took him out and survived to 5. Whew boy! After dealing with Cyrus, we go down to rescue the 3 legendary trio, and unfortunately Saturn decides to harass us. So we put him in his place. He is of no threat. After all, his boss can stop us. What chance does he have? His only chance is to spam confusion and hope that we kill ourselves. That's pretty much it. Even so, it doesn't work, and he goes down rather easily too. Even with me hurting myself in confusion multiple turns. And after climbing up to the top of Mount Coronet, we end up facing off against the 2 commanders. The 2 commanders are actually very difficult because of the fact of them using the dual screens. They become super tanky, and they have extra sensory. So basically all we can do is hope that they don't attack us very much, and that they mostly attack the Munchlax. If they mostly attack the Munchlax, all is good. If we can get rid of one, it's not too bad, because of the fact that we can just focus fire the trainer that we defeated the Bronzor from, and hope the Munchlax throws down some screeches on the other one while we're doing so. But, as you can tell, it doesn't happen very much. Other than that, other than the 2 Bronzors and the crits are also a fear. Because if they throw down some crits with all the slashes, it can get ugly very quickly. But for the most part, this fight is no problem whatsoever. We just gotta take down the 2 Bronzors, and then it is pretty cut and dry from here. The Golbats have no real prayer of taking us down, especially once they get intimidated. So yeah, commanders are done. Distortion World time! So we could set up stockpiles against the Houndoom, which is by far the best option, but the problem is that Houndoom has Will-O-Wisp, and if it Will-O-Wisps us and we don't shed skin it, then it becomes very annoying, and then we need to land a ton of Gunk Shots in this fight, and Gunk Shot is already incredibly inaccurate. I mean, I've gotten lucky a lot and gotten a lot of poisons on Gyarados, but the problem is I usually miss a bunch against Weavile. But I finally landed everything, and we managed to push through all the way to Crobat, which unfortunately is now the final problem. But we scored a crit and managed to get through it, thank God. So after taking down Cyrus at last, we end up against good old Giratina. And Giratina is a joke at this point, because we have Bite, we have a massive level lead, he just drops like a brick. There is no problem at all. Now that Team Galactic is completely dealt with and Giratina has been defeated, all that's left is to take on the final gym, the 8th gym, and it is no challenge. The only real problem here would have been if Jolteon had used Thunder Wave, paralyzed us, and then we just stayed paralyzed until we died and Shed Skin never cured us. Yeah, this is disappointing as the final gym, but, well, what can you do? You got Dig, it all goes down, it's super easy. Onto the Elite Four and Champion. But before we can take on the Pokemon League, we stand in our own way, so we'll have to take ourselves down. His fight is so annoying, just because of crits, and the Gunk Shot misses. If everything goes fine, and I land all my hits, everything is good, but I can't get crit, and crits have been happening non-stop in this fight. And not only that, but Gunk Shot misses at key points when like fighting Snorlax or Torterra causes me to take tons of damage. But if I don't miss my Gunk Shots, and things go smoothly and I don't get crit, then everything is fine. Unfortunately, as you've seen, I've missed a lot of Gunk Shots even on this winning run. But we're past it, and now we can take on the Pokemon League. Thank God, at long last. But before we go into the Pokemon League, I figured that y'all might want to see the stats. Our stats are actually rather good. Our attack is nice and high, probably from the Machops and Machokes that I killed while grinding. Our defense is rather high, probably because of the grinding I did with Riley with his Lucario to get some levels up before the Steel Gym. And our health is sky high, thanks to killing so many Bidoofs to level up for most of the run. Our moves are rather good. I have the TM for Earthquake in my bag. I'm going to hang on to it just so I don't have to use as many PP restoring items throughout the fights. Because I'm going to need Earthquake for Cynthia. My god, am I going to need Earthquake for Cynthia. I did find some PP maxes, so Gunk Shot's up to 8. And yeah, other than that, we look like we're good to go. So let's take on the league and see how we do. Hopefully I don't have to grind to a higher level. So up first in the Pokemon League is Aaron. And Aaron's full bug team, I am honestly not too worried about. This Yanmega with double team is obviously annoying, because it's double team versus Gunk Shot. Not exactly something I want to deal with. But it goes down in one shot, Vespiquen goes down in one shot, no defend order nonsense, Heracross goes down in one shot. So basically it's mostly just a one-shot sweep. Scizor obviously we can't Gunk Shot, but Dig is still a 2-hit KO, so there's no problem there. Last out, he has Drapion, but Drapion is weak to the ground, so one Dig takes him down to red, and then a second Dig takes him out. No problem whatsoever, first Elite Four member down, on to the second. And on we go to the second Elite Four member, and this is one of the ones that I've feared the most, because it's a pure ground team versus an Ekans. There is no way that this ends well for Ekans. None whatsoever. My hope is that after bashing my head against the wall a few times, to take out Wish Cash while the sandstorm is still raging, because that way when her Hippowdon comes in, I wouldn't have to deal with the sandstorm. But unfortunately she full restores, and I don't end up getting rid of the sandstorm, because Hippowdon comes in and nullifies my leftovers completely by having a sandstorm going, and I can't survive 2 earthquakes even at +3. So it looks like I'm gonna have to grind to level 100. What a pain. But even at level 100, Bertha is not easy. The only way we can possibly beat her is by setting up 3 stockpiles against her Wish Cache, hoping that she deals as little damage as possible, and then hoping that we don't get put to sleep for ages by Hippowdon. But Hippowdon, it really is an obnoxious piece of work here. If it doesn't go for Yawn and goes for Earthquake, it's almost better despite how much damage it deals. But we end up taking more damage that way. But at least we don't end up sleeping against Gliscor. But see, the problem is Gliscor also has Earthquake. We can't two-shot it. And she has full restores. So unless we get some good flinches, we can't really get past Gliscor. We also need crits. One of the two in order to get past him. But luckily this time we got one flinch. and down goes Gliscor. After this, it's clear sailing, because she has a Golem, she has a Rhyperior, both drop in one hit from Earthquake. We had to upgrade Dig to Earthquake to even have a chance of getting through this fight. It's a shame, I was hoping to save that for later, but Elite Four 2 down. It's rather sad, honestly. After being through Bertha and just slugging at her so hard to win, we get to Flint, and he's just a one-shot sweep with Earthquake. We grinded up so much that he isn't even a challenge, but it was the only way we were getting past Bertha. Even a couple levels lower and Bertha would have taken us out without even the slightest bit of problem. Well, Flint wasn't the one I was worried about anyway. We're on to the 4th Elite Four member. And the last member of the Elite Four is Lucian. And Lucian I was super worried about, but in reality, because of how his AI works out, I'm not really that worried, because Mr. Mime sets up screens right out the gate. And that gives me time to get my stockpiles up and one-shot him with Bite. Unfortunately, he still has that Bronzong in the back, and Reflect is up, so I just use Earthquake, and then Bite down the Espeon. That way I can save some of my Bite PP. Alakazam could be scary if he crit me, but he didn't, so he goes down. And Bronzong is out now. I can't hit this thing with Gunk Shot, so I gotta finish it off with my Bites. I don't have many PP left, and I'm gonna try to save my PP restoration for when I get to Cynthia. Luckily, I have enough Bites, and it's no problem to take him out. Last up is Gallade, and Gallade is not really a threat. If I can land a Gunk Shot, he goes down, but if he crits me with Psycho Cut, I go down. So, yeah, not really too bad. Lucian down, time for Cynthia. Finally, at long last, we have Cynthia. This battle took a very long time. I tried and kept failing due to either Spiritomb critting me, dropping my special defense, or Garchomp critting me. Eventually, I decided I needed rest to beat this, and that immediately changed everything. So I dropped a Bite, taught my Ekans rest, and then on the next try, I won without any worry besides crits. So, to start off the fight, we have no choice but to set up 3 stockpiles. Without 3 stockpiles, there is no chance of us ever surviving anything that Garchomp throws at us. The only way we survive Earthquakes from Garchomp is with 3 stockpiles. But as soon as we finish setting up the 3rd one, Spiritomb, of course, manages to crit me. So, I have no choice. He's forced me into the corner. I have to use rest early on. And, unfortunately, I don't get any luck. Shed Skin doesn't activate even once in this fight, so I don't drop my sleep early. I was really hoping that I would be able to get rid of my sleep, but unfortunately, I just had to wait out the 2 turns of sleep, and then continue on with the Spiritomb. Since I don't have Bite, I have to be much more careful fighting Spiritomb too, because it has pressure. It could easily bleed out all of my PP for my Earthquake and make it so I can't take on Garchomp properly. Because I can't just use Gunk Shot on it, it's Ghost type, it resists it. And I don't have much PP for Gunk Shot either, and I need Gunk Shot in this fight. So, now that we are finally awake, we use Earthquake on Spiritomb, but unfortunately, Cynthia decides that she doesn't care much for Spiritomb being on low health, and full restores it back up, thus forcing me to use even more attacks than I wanted to. Which is very annoying. Thankfully, during this fight with Spiritomb, we didn't get any special defense drops, which is very important for fighting Roserade and Milotic. Because if I had special defense drops, then Roserade's extra sensory can deal quite a lot of damage if I miss my Gunk Shots, which I cannot miss many of, which is a problem in this battle, because Gunk Shot is inaccurate, and I need the leftovers in order to heal. So next up we have the big problem, Garchomp. Because of its berry, it can survive 2 Earthquakes, and she usually full restores it when it gets low to full HP, making it so that usually it takes a good 4 Earthquakes to take down Garchomp if I don't get crits. Unfortunately, I have used up a ton of Earthquakes due to that full restore on the Spiritomb. But luckily she doesn't use a full restore on Garchomp this time. For some reason she just lets it go down. I'm not complaining, but, you know, I have no choice but to just hope that everything goes well from here on out and I don't miss my Gunk Shots. Because it is easy to lose even after I take down Garchomp, because even with Garchomp down, I could miss all my Gunk Shots and then have nothing to take down Togekiss at the end, because Earthquake doesn't work, because I needed rest. Well, either way, Garchomp goes down this time. I have leftovers healing me up enough that I can keep into the fight without having to rest. So Milotic comes out, and now I need to land my gunk shots on Milotic, Roserade, and Togekiss. If I miss too many gunk shots, I'm going to just have to reset, because I'll lose. Luckily Milotic, Togekiss, and Roserade all go down in a single gunk shot, no problem whatsoever. So, we take down Roserade, we take down Milotic, we don't miss on either one of our gunk shots, thankfully, but we have 4 left, and it's very easy to miss gunk shot, so I could easily miss all 4 in Togekiss and be screwed. Lucario comes out, and Lucario isn't even the slightest bit of a problem at this point. We outspeed it because of the level difference, and Earthquake is a one-shot. Lucario down, only Togekiss is left. So she finally sends out her final Pokemon, and we have to just hope that we can land that gunk shot. If we miss that gunk shot, oh boy, this is gonna be bad. But we landed it, and Togekiss goes down. And with that, we have finally defeated Cynthia. I have to say, this was a brutal fight. It was just as brutal as I thought, but we're finally champion of Sinnoh. Thank God to be done with that. And with that, we have finally entered the Hall of Fame, and have managed to finish off the entire playthrough. This was quite an entertaining playthrough, I do have to say. It was challenging, it was hard, and oh boy, I was expecting the last part to be just as hard as it was, but it still turned out harder than I expected somehow. Most of the early game was easy, but the late game was hard. Well, this one's done. This video's done. I'm gonna be heading out, so I hope that you guys feel free to drop down a like below, say something down below if you got something to say, and you can catch me over on Twitch sometimes too. I got a link to that down in the description. So until next week, when hopefully I have another one of these out, keep having fun, keep playing things the way you want to play, and yeah, I'll see you around. Till next time, everyone.